Welcome to Social Aloe Ministries, where we are committed to glorifying God while exposing the devil. The Lord is full of mercy and grace. However, it is very important to recognize when maybe the Lord is going to give you one more chance, and the one opportunity is going to be your last opportunity. You also have to keep in mind that the devil is a thief who comes but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And as a result, you have to be a steward of even your godly opportunities. Because if you miss it, there's no telling if you're going to get another one, or if you get another opportunity, how long it's going to take for that to happen. It's kind of like driving and you're using a GPS to navigate. Sure, if you go off course, the GPS will help get you back on track. But more than likely, there's going to be lost time from recalculating the route and getting you back on the path that you needed to be on. So you don't want to cause delays as far as getting to your destiny, and you don't want to squander your opportunities. And this is especially important if you know you have sinned, and you've come to the point where you know that the Lord could have rightfully taken you out and cast you into hell because you were so deserving of it. But because of his mercy and grace, he is giving you another chance. And you have to realize again, when it may be your absolutely last chance. Because the Lord may not tell you that it's your last chance. You simply have to know. In Matthew 18, verses 21 through 22, then Peter came to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Jesus saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Now, who's going to take the time to do the math to try to figure out how many times he or she has forgiven a person? Now, the Lord can keep track of stuff like that, but he's not. But even though we have that example in the Bible, do not take it that you can just abuse the Lord's grace and mercy. That you can just do whatever you please, and he's just going to keep on forgiving you. There may come a time when you may end up getting trapped in sin, and your opportunities, they're all gone. So again, you have to be a steward of your opportunities and realize, and especially when it's your last chance. And if you're in a position where you know, for example, you've messed up in the past, and you've been asking the Lord for an opportunity, for another chance, and you know he's going to give it to you, start getting ready now. You don't want to blow it the next time, because it may be your last chance. I want to mention about godly opportunities. I'll go all the way back to Genesis 29 with Jacob when he made an agreement with Laban to marry his younger daughter, Rachel. And starting from verses 20 through 30. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had for her. And Jacob said unto Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in to her. So Jacob did his part, and now he's that long-awaited opportunity. He was looking forward to it. And even though it had been 7 years, it seemed like it had been only a day. He had been looking forward to the opportunity. Again, the devil comes but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and if you've never heard the story before, you really have to wonder, it's like, okay, they made a deal for Rachel. Why are they talking about Leah? So I'll continue. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him, and he went into her. And Laban gave his daughter Leah, Zilpah, his maid, for an handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, What is this thou hast done unto me? Did I not serve, or Christian, did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? Again, the devil comes but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. So here it is. Jacob worked 7 years for the opportunity to marry his beloved Rachel, and he ended up with Leah. You have to be a steward of your godly opportunities. And we're told to be sober, to be vigilant, because our adversary, the devil, is like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Sober, vigilant. So Jacob had a godly opportunity to marry Rachel, but there's some lack of sobriety, there's some lack of vigilance, and he ended up with Leah. But how much was that going to cost him? And Laban said, It must not be done so in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service, which thou shalt serve me yet 7 other years. And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week. And let me back up. So Laban tricked Jacob into marrying Leah, a woman he did not love, didn't want to be with, but he got tricked into marrying her. Jacob wanted to marry Rachel. This story is often mistold to say that Jacob had to wait for 7 years, or correction, for 14 years to marry Rachel. That is not the case, but it could have been. We have to be careful with the story, because it says, And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also. So he had basically a wedding week, you can call it honeymoon, with Leah, but then a week later he got the chance to marry Rachel. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her handmaid. And he went into, and he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. So again, I mentioned sometimes the story is mistold to say that Jacob had to wait for 14 years to marry Rachel, but the fact is, at the end of his 7 years, he ended up marrying Leah. So his destiny got delayed, and in a sense what I mentioned about the GPS earlier. So the GPS had to recalculate to get him back on track to marry Rachel. So it was in fact a week delay. So after 7 years, Jacob married Leah, but a week later he was able to marry Rachel. But he still had to do 7 additional years of work, basically in order to keep her. That was a lot of mess. So you don't want to be in a situation like that where you have a destiny, something the Lord has in store for you, but because you weren't sober, you weren't vigilant, the devil ends up messing you up, and the Lord has to recalculate. Now for Jacob, it only cost him basically another week, but for many of you, you can relate because you know that the Lord had something in store for you, and something happened along the way that delayed your destiny. And it is a tough position to be in. It is September 2016. The Olympics recently ended, and there are a lot of people who went home finishing in 4th place. For some of those individuals, finishing out of medal contention, it was their last Olympics. They won't get a chance again. And for example, track and field, even if those individuals were to go to, for example, participate in diamond leagues or the World Championship, if they don't have an Olympic medal, it is not the same. And that is a tough thing to live with. You don't want to miss out on your destiny. You don't want to feel like the person who finished in fourth place. And if you're someone who finished in fourth place, also take comfort in knowing that you are fourth best in the world. So that is quite an accomplishment within itself. But I know everyone who goes to the Olympics at least want to finish with a medal. And in life, you don't want to miss an opportunity. You don't want to miss an opportunity because of poor stewardship. So be sober, be vigilant, because if God has something for you, the devil's going to try to mess it up. And even if the devil doesn't stop it, you don't want to experience any delays, because that one itself can be painful. But I'm going to continue by focusing on when you have received the opportunity, but you did something to blow it. And like I mentioned, it may be so bad where you know the Lord could have simply ended your life and sent you to hell, because, quite frankly, you were deserving of it. And for that, I'll go to 2 Samuel 12. In 2 Samuel 11, David, he lusted after Bathsheba, a woman who was married. He had a sexual relationship with her, ended up getting her pregnant, called her husband back from war, tried to get him to have sexual relations with his wife to cover up the pregnancy, but the husband refused because he was so honorable. And when that happened, David ended up killing him. And then he married Bathsheba to make things look legitimate. But the Lord was not going to let him get away with it. And in 2 Samuel 12, and I'll read from verses 7 through 14, the Lord sent his prophet Nathan to rebuke David. And Nathan said to David, "Thou art the man. Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul, and gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives into thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things." So the Lord had blessed David. He shouldn't have wanted for anything. And if he wanted more, all he had to do was simply ask the Lord for it. But David sinned against the Lord. "Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me." In breaking the Lord's commandment, the Lord said David had despised him. Which ties into what Jesus said in the New Testament, that if you love him, keep his commands. "Because thou hast despised me, and taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor. And he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of this sun. For thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel, and before the sun." And David said unto Nathan, "I have sinned against the Lord." And Nathan said unto David, "The Lord also hath put away thy sin. Thou shalt not die." That is an example of the Lord's mercy and grace. Because according to the Lord's commandments, David should have been put to death for his actions. But the Lord had mercy on him. He was going to give him another chance. And it made it clear, the Lord also had put away thy sin. Thou shalt not die. That was one of those signs when the Lord gives you, I'll just say, when the Lord allows you to live after doing certain things, you know he's giving you a chance, a call to repentance. And in some cases, he will allow you to kind of go down that path, so to speak. Not down the sinful path, but down, in a sense, the same road for you to get it right the next time. But again, you have to realize that your next opportunity could be your last opportunity. And you have to be a steward of the opportunity the Lord gives you. But it continues. Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die. The Lord is full of mercy and grace, but there is a price to pay for defying him, for disobeying his commandments. And if you know you have disobeyed the Lord's commandments and you have repented, let's say, for example, you were married, you committed adultery, the marriage ended, and you have been asking the Lord for a spouse. He may choose not to give you one, but you know that if the Lord opts to give you another spouse, that you better not blow it, under no circumstances. And one of the things we can all say about David, or should actually commend him for, is that, yes, he committed a sin. He did some horrible things in order to cover it up. But once he was called out, he repented. And you never heard about David committing adultery again. A lot of times, people will judge you by your past, but if the Lord's giving you another chance, please be a good steward. Be sober. Be vigilant. Because the devil's going to try to mess it up. And I'll scroll to John 8. In John 8, 1 through 11, it tells a story about someone else who was caught committing adultery. And at the end of it, the Lord spared this individual also. And it wasn't because he condoned adultery, but he spared her. And when he did, in verse 11 of John 8, she said, No man, Lord. And Jesus said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. When the Lord gets you out of a sinful situation, even if you don't hear those exact words from him, one way or another, take it as such that if he gets you out of a sinful situation, that his mercy and grace is not an excuse for you to continue sinning. It is a reason for you to stop sinning. Because he told her, go and sin no more. Go and sin no more. And some of you may be saying, isn't that kind of contradictory? How is the Lord going to say that, like back in the Old Testament, that a person should be put to death for committing adultery, but then he pardoned David and he pardoned this lady? Well, the Lord is not actually contradicting himself. And it's one of those things where when the devil comes along, he may send someone to try to condemn you by using scriptures, to make it seem as if the Lord has not forgiven you, when in fact the Lord has. But the devil will try to keep you handcuffed to your past when the Lord is moving you to your future. In Exodus 33, verse 19, it states, And he said, the Lord, I will make all my goodness pass before thee. And the Lord's actually speaking to Moses. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before thee, and I will proclaim the name of the Lord before thee, and will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. So yes, the Lord frowns on sin. And in those two cases where the Lord forgives someone for committing adultery, and especially at the time, an act that was punishable by death, the Lord pardoned those individuals. And some people may be saying, how could that be? And again, the Lord said, I will proclaim the name of the Lord before thee, and will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and I will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. God's grace and mercy. We have all benefited from it in one way or another. We truly have to be stewards of that grace and mercy. You never know when your next opportunity is going to be your last opportunity. So do not take his grace and mercy for granted. And the Lord gave someone else a more stern warning, and this applies to all of us. In John 5, it tells a story of a man who was lame, and Jesus healed him. When Jesus saw him a little bit later, this will happen. Afterwards, Jesus findeth him in the temple, and said unto him, Behold, thou art made whole. Thou art made whole. Sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee. This man had gotten a chance of redemption. When Jesus saw him, he said, Behold, thou art made whole. Sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee. We've all sinned and fallen short of God's glory. If you've heard this message, it is because you're a recipient of God's grace and mercy. In some cases, you may have been waiting for a while for another chance. And I liken to this. The Lord delivered the Israelites from out of Egypt, but they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. The deliverance was not complete until they went into the promised land. For a lot of you, you feel as if you messed up an opportunity, much like the Israelites did, because the Lord told them to go and possess the land. And when the Lord had Moses send 12 spies into it, because 10 had an unfavorable report, the Lord delayed their destiny by 40 years. You do not want any delays. And if you're someone who has basically been wandering in the wilderness, when the Lord tells you to go and possess your promise, you need to be ready to go and possess your promise. You have to forget those things from the past. Yes, learn from them, but you have to be able to move forward to what the Lord has in store for you. In some cases, some of you are wandering in the wilderness. You have seen other people who may have done the same thing you have, and they've gotten opportunities to move forward while you're still wandering in the wilderness. Again, Exodus 13 or 33:19, the Lord says he will have mercy on who will have mercy, and he'll be gracious towards who will be gracious. So the Lord will make a determination who gets to move forward and when. You may have to wait longer for your turn than others. But remember, be a good steward of your opportunities. You do not want any delays as far as moving towards your destiny. And as an example, the Lord gave King Saul an opportunity to be king, and he could have made his bloodline kings over Israel. But Saul messed up the opportunity. So the Lord sought someone better than Saul, someone, a man after his heart. Your destiny, or the Lord may have something in store for you, but if you're not a good steward, you could end up losing that opportunity. You don't want your promise, so to speak. You don't want it to be delayed, and you don't want it to be denied. Be a good steward of your opportunities. If you have sinned, and especially if you've been living with the repercussions of that sin, when the Lord gives you a chance, just remember, go and sin no more, lest something worse happen to you.